From the Replay Sports Bar at the Hard Rock Casino in Tulsa. Hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Linders along with Grant Merrill, and this is the new Oklahoma Sports Scene presented by the Cherokee Nation.
Absolutely, and it's a big week in college sports. It's a big week in high school sports. Everybody's still talking about OU Texas from over the weekend. What a game.
Can you imagine the setting here with 51 screens back here on Saturday?
Right.
Wow.
I guarantee you, it was a big atmosphere in Dallas, and it was probably a big atmosphere in the Replay Sports Bar right behind us.
Probably still standing. They were rocking this place last week for sure. You know, I had two words to think about the whole thing, Grant. I've covered OU football since before you were born, 1974, first time with the Sooners, and Sooner Magic. And believe me, I've seen it at work in Norman. I've seen it at work in Lincoln. I've seen it at work in Waco, Texas, and Stillwater, Oklahoma, in bowl games as well. Just something about, you think it's not possible, and all of a sudden, magically, OU pulls it out.
Well, the last 4 years, last 5 years, whatever it's been, I mean, every game has come down to one possession, and it leaves us wondering, can they top this? Is this the greatest OU Texas game of all time? And Saturday, they just kept on making it a little more tight and a little more. I mean, I was sitting there watching it, and they went up 28-7, and I said, "Oh my gosh, it's over." I'm glad that I wasn't at the stadium. I probably, you know, some people were probably tempted to leave early, and I'm sure a few people did. Can you imagine what they're thinking right now? So,
well, but the Texas fans wish they'd left early.
Yeah, they probably did.
Well, that had to be hard to take.
I wouldn't show my face in public if I was a Texas fan, but that's just me.
And the show lineup, we got somebody special to talk about this because he was at the Cotton Bowl. He's been covering the Sooners for a decade.
Yeah, Eric Bailey from the Tulsa World's going to join us. He's, of course, in his 10th year covering the Sooners and does a great job. And you'll see that winning touchdown. We're going to show you. But we're going to show you with Toby Rowland's call, right, because he's the greatest play-by-play announcer there is on the radio right now. Does a great job with the Sooner Sports Network. And we'll also hear from Lincoln Riley, 5-1 versus Texas. And we'll talk to him about his suddenly developing quarterback situation because, yeah, he's got one.
And we did a Zoom interview this past week with the new sheriff in town at Stillwater, Oklahoma. It's Oklahoma State's new athletic director, Chad Weiberg. I think you'll find it interesting and a lot of fascinating things to talk about with Cowboy athletics and about the college football and college sports scene in general.
Hard to believe hockey season is here. Tulsa Oilers opening their training camp this week for the upcoming season. Taylor Hall is the general manager of the Oilers. He's here to talk hockey. And we've also got the Major League Baseball playoffs.
Let's take a look then at the hot topics, and nothing's hotter still in the middle of the week than Oklahoma, Texas. Wow.
Boomer Sooner, baby. It is a big deal, and it's all anybody's going to be talking about for a while.
The Oklahoma City Thunder come over to Tulsa to wrap up their preseason. They'll play a Thursday night game at the BLK Center where they get the regular season underway. Their 82-game regular season begins on October 20th. They'll be playing their first home game of their 21-22 season on Sunday, October 24th. Paycom Center in Oklahoma City. They'll host the Philadelphia 76ers.
Still having to get used to saying the Paycom Center.
I know it.
Major League Baseball, the divisional series continues with the Dodgers and the Giants and the Brewers and the Braves battling to get to the National League Championship starting October 16th. American League, the Rays and the Red Sox, the Astros and the White Sox, they'll be deciding who's playing in the American League Championship beginning October 15th. Both are in the best of 7 series with the winners advancing to the World Series starting on October 26th.
And could extend and probably will into November, it looks like, in baseball.
Absolutely.
Wow. And the FC Tulsa Soccer Club's running into some hard times right now. They've now had 5 winless in their streak right now. They're still hanging on to a playoff spot, though. They lost a tough one 2-1 at El Paso last week, or to El Paso here in Tulsa last week. Now they go on the road to San Antonio coming up this Saturday. Right now, the FC Tulsa group is 12, 23-3. 39 points. Good news is they're still a point up on Memphis and 3 up on Oklahoma City. They're in 3rd place in the standings, so hang on for the FC Tulsa group there. When we come back, we'll get into Oklahoma, Texas in detail. Some great highlights. I think you're going to enjoy this. That's all straight ahead on the new Oklahoma Sports Scene and presented by the Cherokee Nation here at the Hard Rock Casino.
Classic never changes. It just gets better. Jackie Blue lives her life from inside of a room. Makes you think that her life is a drag. Live your greatest hits at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, Tulsa.
Billy Sims knows barbecue. How about 9 meats, including brisket, chicken, pork, turkey, and ribs? Just to name a few, and 7 home-style sides. We start early to slow smoke the most delicious meats for over 12 hours.
Every day.
Wherever you want, online, dine in, curbside, or carry out. We've had a passion for over 15 years of serving delicious barbecue to people like you. Billy Sims has fast, drop-in friendly neighborhood service, loud enough for a tailgate and fancy enough for a wedding. Like we said, Billy Sims knows barbecue.
The world-class thoroughbreds are racing at Remington Park. There's live racing now through December 17th. So don't miss all the action on the track and in the casino. Send your heart racing at Remington Park.
At Rogers State University, we keep things personal.
It all starts here.
We make sure our graduates get the most out of their education.
RSU has campuses in Claremore, Bartlesville, and Pryor, with on-campus housing and a wide variety of programs to suit your needs.
It all starts here.
Rogers State University.
Direct snap, Brooks fakes the pitch, bounces it outside. He's to the 30, he's to the 25, he's to the 20, he's gonna go! Kennedy Brooks, he just won! He just won the game! Kennedy Brooks just won OU Texas! A 33-yard touchdown run by Kennedy Brooks! One year after a 4-overtime classic, we may have surpassed it with the greatest game in OU Texas history. Unstinking believable.
I think that's pretty well described. Unstinking, unbelievable. Our guy Eric Bailey is there. He's covered the Sooners for the past decade now with the Tulsa World. And Eric, your thoughts on that incredible game? You were there.
I don't know if I've covered a more exciting game. That was just so many ebbs and flows, so many ups and downs, and to end like it did, just an incredible game. And that might be the one I remember at my retirement speech. That was a fun game, fun game.
But haven't you said that about the last few OU Texas games? I mean, it seems like the shootouts just get wilder.
Yeah, the last 7 or 8 have ended with one possession games. So I mean, one score. That's it.
And last year, 4 overtimes.
Exactly. Yeah, you didn't think you could top last year, and you
No
did,
way,
and they
yeah.
did. I think they did.
And then, of course, we just found out that, what a surprise, the top 3 OU players were named the Big 12 Players of the Week. Obviously, Caleb Williams is the offensive player. Grant Burchett for his incredible work as a special teams guy. And then, of course, who am I leaving out here?
Newcomer. We had the newcomer,
that's right.
Caleb Williams.
And
Offensive Kennedy Brooks, the offensive player of the year. Yeah.
So what a combination.
And you know what? If you would have told me that at the end of the first quarter when it's 28-7 Texas, I never would have believed you. Never would have believed you.
Well, I know that you're watching that on site down there. Talk about the atmosphere, because I mean OU Texas is a big atmosphere anyway, but the end of that thing just had to have been monumental.
It was allowed last year with just 25%, and the game itself is just amazing. But to have a full stadium, 95,000 people there, and like you said, the end of the game, I've never seen OU fans storm the field, and they stormed the field. I think it was more of an emotional release with everything that went on in the comeback. So it was just neat. It's always neat, and this was a special one.
Well, those 3 players you mentioned, Kennedy Brooks, along with Gabe Burkich, the kicker, and then Kenny Williams, accounted for 47 of OU's 55 points. Consider this a 21-point comeback, the largest ever against Texas, the largest Texas blown lead right in the history of their school. And then to come back, but to trail by 18 points going into the third quarter was unbelievable.
Chris, 3 minutes to go in the third quarter, still an 18-point game. And Texas felt good, 3-possession game for them. And I tell you, if you're a Texas fan, it was just disintegrating. Your feelings just disintegrated because of the way Oklahoma was able to pour on points and make plays. And Caleb Williams, I mean, he's a true freshman, didn't play high school football last year. Have the year he
19
did.
years old.
19. It just an amazing game. And to get thrown into that, Lincoln Riley comes up to you, go play football in the OU Texas game. He just wrote a chapter in the history of this game because of what he did.
Unbelievable.
Well, I know that the elephant in the room has been getting bigger, the quarterback situation.
We had a teleconference with Lincoln Riley today, and Lincoln basically
Hey, look who your friend is.
Hey,
Joe Deere,
Deere.
Cherokee Nation's here to see his buddy Eric Bailey.
Security.
Yeah, I know. Someone who let him in.
Who let this guy in?
We're on the air, Joe.
Oh, sorry. Sports Friday of the year right here, baby.
That's right, the best.
Lincoln.
Hey, Joe.
It's funny because Lincoln Riley said today that he's not going to make a decision, but he's going to see how the players play during the week. Now, that being said, that could be coach speak. He could have in the back of his head, he knows who the starting quarterback's going to be. So we're just going to wait and see how this all plays out. I think, Spencer Rattler, we're going to find out a lot about him and just his character build up because he's going to have to fight for his job back.
Real quick. Oh, I was going to just quickly ask, on that quarterback situation, were you surprised that Lincoln Riley did not let either quarterback speak to the media? I know Holly Rowe kind of made a big deal out of that after the game on Twitter, but was that a surprise to you?
Not really, because Caleb, he has a policy of not letting freshmen speak. I mean, Marvin Mims had an outstanding year last year. We didn't talk to him till the last week of the season or before the bowl game, and I think that's how it's going to be with Caleb. He just doesn't allow freshmen to speak. Now, Spencer Rattler, that was something else. I don't think they were going to let him speak because of the game and how everything played out.
All the OU Texas games I've been to, and it's almost, you can count on it, the team that has the best rushing statistics wins the game. And you think, my gosh, they have that incredible running back, and that he's the real deal, Robinson kid. Yeah. But he was outgained by Kennedy Brooks, and OU had 339 yards rushing, 8.1 yards a snap to Texas, 128 on the ground.
Bijan Robinson came in with all the fanfare. Kennedy Brooks left with the hat.
Yeah.
So I think that's what happened. And you look at Kennedy Brooks, what he was able to do on the ground, what Caleb Williams can do offensively, that's going to help the run game. They're going to complement each other so well. So I think Caleb Williams really gives Oklahoma that chance to run the ball more.
When you come back, more with Eric Bailey. He is the beat writer for the Oklahoma Sooners for the Tulsa World, has been for a decade now over there. We're going to talk more about this. Is it a quarterback controversy or just a quarterback situation? Coming up next on the new Oklahoma Sports Scene, presented by the Cherokee Nation here at the Hard Rock.
Classic never changes. It just gets better.
Jackie Blue lives her life from inside of a room. Makes you think that her life is a drag.
Live your greatest hits at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, Tulsa.
What happens when Rumble of the Oklahoma City Thunder takes on the two fellas and a big vehicle team on the court? They should leave it to a professional. And when it comes to moving the Thunder and all of Rumble's stuff, he should leave it to the professionals.
We got this. Let the pros from Two Fellas take it from here.
The Tulsa Oilers are back at the BOK Center for the 70th season of Tulsa hockey. Join the Oilers for opening night Saturday, October 30th at 7:05 as they take on the Kansas City Mavericks. For tickets, call 918-632-7825 or visit TulsaOilers.com and get ready to defend the rig.
It didn't take long for this photo to hit the internet. That's Lincoln Riley, supposedly talking to Steve Sarkisian before the game with the caption, "Tell you what, I'm going to spot you 14 points at the beginning of the game." I don't think he really wanted to do that, did he? My gosh, Eric.
Yeah, 13 minutes to go in the first quarter. You're down 14-0. That was, it got quiet on the Crimson and Cream side of the stadium.
And then, of course, the decision. Everybody's talking about what decision will he make with the quarterback. I think he made that decision when he had to pull Spencer, put Caleb Williams in.
You wondered how Caleb Williams was going to react to. I mean, he really has just had limited time playing, and you get in there and throw in the Cotton Bowl with a deficit and go win us the game. And he did it. He led OU to scores in 7 to 9 drives, Chris.
Let's listen to Lincoln Riley after the game. This is the press conference. And, of course, our man Gary Namick of the Tulsa World, Eric's buddy there covering the Sooners, he had the question everybody wanted an answer to.
Lincoln, I was hoping to get you to reflect on the decision to make the change to Caleb. Was it difficult, and what was the factor that made you pull the trigger?
Yeah, it was because I mean, Spencer was seeing some things that we missed early that weren't on him, and then I thought the big thing to me though was the turnovers. I mean, we made just a mental error on the first one, and then obviously the fumble, and I mean just knowing this game, you can't turn the ball over and win this game. I mean, it's very, very difficult to do. And so, yes, similar to a little bit to the year past, I really Was expecting to put him back in. Didn't know it would come on maybe the single most important play of the game. But, he handled it like a pro. I thought we got a little bit of a rhythm when Caleb came in. He did some good things. And so, we were scoring, we were moving it, so I stayed with it. And I'll tell you what, I know you guys are going to go write a bunch of stuff, do what you do. That's your job. That's not my job. But the trust I had to put Spencer back in the most important play of the game, the guts he had to do to go in there and perform for his team, a guy that was sulking, not a team guy, not into it, not still wanting to win no matter what happened for him personally. That's him, and that's why he was ready to go execute the most important play of the game. So I'm proud of both of those guys for how they responded to the start. We needed them both to win it, and so we'll play better there as we go on with both of them, but proud of how they both handled it.
Well, they still likes them both. Caleb Williams had some likable numbers with 300 yards of total offense, 212 passing, 88 rushing, most ever by an OU freshman against Texas.
And how about a debut play? 4th and 1?
That was a do-or-die play for Oklahoma. It's 28-7 deep in your own territory at your 34-yard line. You don't make that. Texas, with all the momentum, could make it 35-7 and really make it a runaway. But to do what he did in his first snap in the OU-Texas game, go 66 yards for a touchdown, incredible.
Your reaction. Remember, Spencer Rattler was the preseason favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. First team All-American. Has all of the name, image, likeness going for himself, the 2 cars, all the stuff. What's the impact of some of that? And again, you got to feel for Spencer, too.
You really do. And you got to remember, he's the one that completed that 2-point conversion, tied the game at 41.
Right, yeah.
That's a lot to ask him to come in after sitting and watching Caleb Williams do so well. Okay, go tie the game. And he performed, he executed. This week, we're going to learn a lot about his character, his mentality, how he practices, and we'll see what happens on Saturday. But I think we'll learn a lot about him this week.
Well, Lincoln Riley did say, you guys can go write what you want to, but I did call on Spencer on the most important play of the game.
Yeah, and I was impressed with Spencer. He's made big plays. You're looking at a quarterback that's led OU to 14 straight wins. I mean, he's a story. How often is a quarterback that's won 14 straight games get benched?
Talk about the Heisman ratings. We talk about preseason, now what it is now.
Yeah, we found out today, Spencer was 4-1, a favorite to win the Heisman before the season. He was 16-1 last week and 4th in the Heisman, according to odds makers. And today, he's off the board. That's how far the drop is. So when we go back to talking about his character and how he handles it, that's something else he's going to have to handle.
How much impact is that NIL, the name, image, likeness?
This is our first year really seeing this, and I think in a couple years we'll be able to look back and really gauge this. Right now, you just wonder how much of an impact that has, though. I mean, it really, not just for him, but players across the nation. Spencer's one of the highest paid players in terms of NIL. Now he's on the bench. We'll see what happens.
All right. It's going to be interesting to watch, and I know the fans are going to have something to say about it. You'll probably hear from most of them.
I think it's going to be fun. I mean, the rest, Oklahoma still has all their goals intact. So we'll just see how this plays out. We're midway through the season now.
And, of course, at 6:30 p.m. is the kickoff on ABC with TCU coming to town. They had a big win over Texas Tech. And, again, everybody's going to watch the start of that game. I can't see any possible way they can't start the freshman.
My bet is it is going to be Caleb Williams, just because of what they were able to do offensively against Texas.
Eric, great to have you with us. We have something for you from your man, Billy Sims.
Yep, $25 gift card. You can probably spend it at the new Billy Burger opening next week.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm excited. Billy Sims Barbecue, I've always enjoyed it ever since I came to town.
We're going to be out there and tape our show there next week. Hope you guys will come out next Monday and about 5 o'clock and join us. Probably Eric will be there, have a burger with us, and have some fun. We're going to come back and switch to Oklahoma State. We're going to have an interview, in fact, 2-part interview with Chad Weiberg. He's the new head cowboy, the new athletic director at Oklahoma State. That's straight ahead on the new Oklahoma sports scene.
A classic never changes. It just gets better.
Jackie Blue lives her life from inside of a room. Makes you think that her life is a drag.
Live your greatest hits at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, Tulsa.
Billy Sims knows barbecue. How about 9 meats, including brisket, chicken, pork, turkey, and ribs? Just to name a few, and 7 home-style sides. We start early to slow smoke the most delicious meats for over 12 hours.
Every day.
Wherever you want, online, dine in, curbside, or carry out. We've had a passion for over 15 years of serving delicious barbecue to people like you. Billy Sims has fast, drop-in friendly neighborhood service, loud enough for a tailgate and fancy enough for a wedding. Like we said, Billy Sims knows barbecue.
The world-class thoroughbreds are racing at Remington Park. There's live racing now through December 17th. So don't miss all the action on the track and in the casino. Send your heart racing at Remington Park.
We welcome you back to the all-new Oklahoma sports scene presented by the Cherokee Nation. Chris, you might have noticed we changed helmets midstream.
And we're going to the top man at Oklahoma State University, the new athletic director, Chad Weiberg. He took over from Mike Holder after 16 seasons. He's the new head man at OSU. The new athletic director at Oklahoma State University, Chad Weiberg, or as Mike Holder said, he is a new sheriff in town. Chad, congratulations. Well done.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. It's great to be here.
Well, let's talk about your background. Of course, it started on the OSU campus, almost 30 years ago. You've been a Cowboy all your life.
Yeah, I'd prefer not to count exactly, but hard to believe that's true. It sure doesn't seem that way. Yep, I've been a Cowboy for my whole life. Bleed orange.
A lot of new faces here on the OSU campus. As a new athletic director and yourself as a new president, of course. But as an old face as well, the longest tenured football coach in the Big 12, and that, of course, is your friend Mike Gundy.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we've been very fortunate to have the consistency and the longevity that Coach Gundy's had. And, of course, having him be an alum and one of us is also a great thing. And he's just done an outstanding job. I mean, I think all of the records and the accolades stand for themselves. The consistency that he's brought to this program over the course of his time as the head coach here is unparalleled. It's not happened in OSU's football history before. So give him a tremendous amount of credit for being able to bring that consistency to our program.
You know, you stepped into this office, and of course, probably an unprecedented flurry of activities for an athletic director with conference realignment and the Big 12 announcements, and you guys welcoming new members to the conference. Kind of take us back to between July and now, and some of the biggest things you've had to deal with where all this is concerned.
Yeah, well, Grant, I think it is a sort of an unparalleled time in general in college athletics. There's been times in the course of history that there's been big shifts and changes come along that we've dealt with. But I don't think there's been a time that there's been so many of these things come all at once. And, that started on my first day, actually, as the athletic director. So July 1st was my first day, and it was the first day that name, image, and likeness took effect, which was something that was big. We knew was coming in some form or fashion. We didn't know exactly what it was going to look like. And in some ways, we still don't know exactly what it is going to look like. But, we still have the transfer changes that we are dealing with. We've got now the Alston Supreme Court case ruling. We have the NCAA Constitutional Convention that is coming up. All those things I think are related to some degree, but it is just a lot of change in college athletics in general. And then for starting with the Big 12, you throw conference realignment on top of that. And that was Dr. Shrum and I's 21st day, not that we are counting in any way, but so it is an interesting time. A lot of these things are things that are outside of our control or any single school's control, I believe. And so what we have been talking a lot about here, we'll continue to talk a lot about here, is that, we've put ourselves in a really good position here at Oklahoma State. And there's a lot of people that deserve a lot of credit for that. Obviously, starting with our supporters, Mr. Pickens, and the great supporters like him that have followed him and helping us put our facilities in a great position, all of the donors and season ticket holders that give us the ability to continue to provide the experience and the resources to our coaches and our student athletes. Coach Holder's leadership over the last 16 years as AD, putting the department in the position that we're in, to be able to do what we do, we've got to continue to be able to control the things that we can control. There's, like we said, there's many things that go on out there that we will have no control over, but we're in a good position now, and all we can do is do what we can do to stay in that position.
Our special guest on Oklahoma Sports Scene is Chad Weiberg, the new athletic director at Oklahoma State University. Chad, I know you give a lot of credit to Mike Holder. I always kidded Mike. I told him he did the best recruiting job in the history of college athletics because he recruited T. Boone Pickens. What an impact.
What an amazing impact. Absolutely. He was a game changer. It's hard to overstate. You can look out on, Saturday and at the football stadium and obviously see a physical manifestation of the impact that he had. But I think it goes way beyond that. I think what he really did is he changed the way that we kind of think about ourselves and what we collectively think is possible here at Oklahoma State. And, and you see that, I think, throughout the department, certainly with our football program, but with all of our other sports as well, and really across campus. I mean, it really wasn't just confined to OSU athletics. Obviously, his support went all across campus as well, and I think changed what we thought was possible here at Oklahoma State. So certainly is one of those people that don't come along very often, and we were very fortunate to have him here at Oklahoma State.
When you take a look at the work that he did financially and the groundwork that he laid, looking into your crystal ball for the future, what are some of the milestone projects that you would like to see happen during your time as athletic director? Are there things you're planning for, raising money for? What are some of the biggest things on your to-do list?
Well, I think that's a great question, and I've said that, Coach Holder obviously put a great plan together, started with Mr. Pickens, but carried through with, the Greenwood support of the tennis facility and the Neil Patterson support of the soccer complex and the O'Brate support of the new baseball stadium and Sherman Smith's support of the indoor practice facility. It just kind of goes on and on. And so I think the way that we can honor their legacy the best is continue that and continue improving our facilities. And there is a master plan that was started, and there's certainly things on that master plan that haven't been finished yet. But and so we'll be kind of looking at those things, kind of updating the master plan, if you will, to see, make sure that everything is still, current, I guess, if you will. There's been a lot of things that have changed. And so we're in that process now. I think it's been out there that one of the things that we want to do is a wrestling training facility. We're always going to have our matches, our competitions in Gallagher-Iber Arena, but to provide the wrestling program with the resources they need to continue to recruit and develop the greatest players, the greatest wrestlers in the country. Obviously the softball program has been doing great things. They've made it to the College World Series, the last two College World Series, and the fan interest is at an all-time high. So it's pretty clear that we need to be doing some things to the softball stadium as well. We've got we'd love to have a space for our track athletes to be able to practice indoors. It does still get cold around here in the winters and things like that. So it'd be great for them to have a place like that. So those are all things on our list, but as well as continuing to upgrade and update the facilities that we have. I mean, it's as it relates to Cowboy football, for example, the West End Zone now is 15, I think going on 15 seasons old, which is hard to believe. But it's time for us to start reimagining and upgrading and updating remodeling, refreshing a lot of the things in the West End zone. Things change in 15 years, just the way we operate, the way the rules work, all the things that are possible now weren't 15 years ago. And so, we need to make sure that our space reflects that. So we'll be working through some plans to upgrade and remodel the West End zone for Cowboy football.
We're visiting with the new athletic director at Oklahoma State University, Chad Weiberg, and much more coming up on the new Oklahoma sports scene. Stay with us.
The Tulsa Oilers are back at the BOK Center for the 70th season of Tulsa hockey. Join the Oilers for opening night Saturday, October 30th at 7:05 as they take on the Kansas City Mavericks. For tickets, call 918-632-7825 or visit TulsaOilers.com and get ready to defend the rig.
A classic never changes. It just gets better.
Jackie Blue lives her life from inside of a room. Makes you think that her life is a drag.
Live your greatest hits at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, Tulsa.
At Rogers State University, we keep things personal.
It all starts here.
We make sure our graduates get the most out of their education.
RSU has campuses in Claremore, Bartlesville, and Pryor, with on-campus housing and a wide variety of programs to suit your needs.
It all starts here.
Rogers State University.
What happens when Rumble of the Oklahoma City Thunder takes on the two fellas and a big vehicle team on the court? They should leave it to a professional. And when it comes to moving the Thunder and all of Rumble's stuff, he should leave it to the professionals.
We got this. Let the pros from two fellas take it from here.
Welcome back to the new Oklahoma sports scene, presented by the Cherokee Nation. Our special guest is Chad Weiberg, the new athletic director at Oklahoma State University, or Mike Gundio says, the new sheriff in town. And excited to have you again. For the folks that aren't familiar, Chad, give us some of your background, just more than Oklahoma State University, where you've really studied and prepared yourself for this athletic directorship.
Sure. So I'm an Oklahoma State grad and was fortunate to intern here in the athletic department my junior and senior year in school. And that's kind of, I think, where I really started to think that this is maybe a path that I wanted to go down, and was fortunate to be able to get hired on right out of school here in the athletic department, and thought I would be here for the rest of my career, but things change, things happen, and ended up working here in various different capacities on campus for 9 years, but then left and took a job at Kansas State University and spent 11 years at K-State in Manhattan. And I thought I think when I was first starting, I didn't think I would ever leave OSU, but I think at some point I realized that it might be good for me to go somewhere else and learn.
Well, again, you've done an incredible job. You're off to a great start here. And I guess what we're so impressed with OSU athletics is any school in the Big 12 has had more championships and more different sports, a great variety of sports, and just a great legacy in almost all the sports there on the campus in Stillwater.
Yes, we've got 52 national championships in our history, which is the most in the Big 12 conference. It's actually the most in any conference outside of the Pac-12 conference. Of course, they've got some schools there in the Pac-12 and USC, Cal, and Stanford that have a lot of sports and have done very well in those sports. So those are the three schools that have more than we do. But yes, and to your point, we've done it in a bunch of different sports. Obviously, wrestling is probably the greatest college sport program any college sports program in any sport on any campus, and the legacy that they've got. But we've won championships in basketball and baseball and golf, obviously, with our tremendous golf program, cross country. So it's we're very proud of that history and that tradition, and confident that we will continue to add banners in the rafters of Gallagher Arena here. And interestingly enough, all of those championships have been in male sports. So we talk frequently about winning our first national championship in a female sport, and we're looking forward to that. We've been knocking on the door. We've been very close in tennis and golf and softball, and so I think it's a race to see who can hang the first national championship banner in a women's sport, and we know that's going to happen, and we look forward to that. But and it's across the board, even when we're not winning national championships, because that's really, really hard. But our programs are competing at a very high level every year. Just this past year, every single team competed in the NCAA postseason. And most of the teams, I think almost all of the teams, advanced at least one round in the NCAA postseason. And I think that's remarkable in any given year for every program to have that kind of success. But when you consider that was done with COVID as the backdrop of it, I think says a lot about our student athletes, our coaches, the way they stayed focused on what it is that they wanted to do and wanted to get done. And we look forward to having another great year. We're off to a great start this year, and I think have the chance and the opportunity to match that this year.
As you take a look at the newly constructed Big 12, as you welcome in these new schools, what are the most exciting things to you as an athletic director that the Houstons and the Central Floridas and the Brigham Youngs bring to the table here?
Well, I think it's pretty clear, here 5 weeks into the 6 weeks into the football season that, we're bringing in some really, really competitive programs. I mean, Cincinnati's off to an outstanding start. Brigham Young is off to an outstanding start. Houston and Central Florida both have obviously a lot of success in football, historical success, and so excited about that. But they're really good in their other sports programs too. I mean, Houston obviously has had a great run in basketball with Coach Sampson there now, and Cincinnati obviously has this historic basketball program, and BYU has also been good, and I think that goes for all of their sports. They're in big cities, so a lot of them are in big cities. They've got great fan bases. They've done well with their facilities. I think there's a lot to be excited about. It'll be new places for our fans to travel, new places for their fans to travel. So we look forward to hosting, our visitors from those places when that time comes.
Chad, no doubt feelings were a little bit raw there between the two state schools, OU and OSU, when OU announced they were jumping off with Texas, leaving the Big 12. They're heading to Texas this week to take the Longhorns on. OU comes to your place for Bedlam later in the year. How are the feelings now between the state schools?
Oh, that's a great question. I think that, it's, I don't know that a lot has changed from that regard. It's Bedlam, right? And so, the fans like to go at each other. The teams like to go at each other, but we also know that we are in the same state, and for now we're in the same conference. And so I think the working relationship there is going to move forward as as it has in the past. So we'll continue to work through that, as the next few years here until things change, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
From a fan perspective. Oh, sorry about that, Chris. From a fan perspective, one of the biggest questions has been the future of Bedlam and what that looks like. And, if you look into your crystal ball, and do you see OU and OSU still getting back together?
Well, I think there's multiple layers of an answer to that question, Grant, and that, every sport is different. First of all, I know that when I get asked that question, I think most of the time they're referring to football. And so as it relates to football, and football is a little bit different from the other sports in that, the scheduling is done so far out into the distance anyway. And so there's still a lot of questions to be answered. How many conference games are we going to play? How many conference games are they playing? I mean, I've heard, speculation about those things. So, and that obviously has an impact on how many non-conference games you play. And much like us, I believe that they are scheduled out in their non-conference, schedule quite a ways into the future. And so some of it is just logistics. How do we work through some of those logistics? So can I see a scenario where there may be a break in the competition just for logistic reasons, perhaps? That's the kind of thing that we don't know. Am I going to sit here and say that we're never going to play OU in football again? I'm not going to say that either, and so I think there's just things that we'll need to work through there to see how that goes.
Chad, as we wrap things up, what's your final message to the great Cowboy supporters out there, all your fans that done a great job supporting the program?
Well, absolutely. I think first of all, it's thank you for everything that they have done to put us in this position, and it cannot be done without them, and it cannot be done without every single one of them doing what they can do, whether that is buying season tickets, driving to Stillwater, coming to the games, joining the posse, just whatever they can do. It takes every single one of them. And then it's going to continue to take that. I mean, again, with all of the changes in college athletics that are occurring, we need them now more than ever. And I'm confident that they're going to be there for us, just like they always have. We've already seen that, I think, through the conference realignment. I've had a number of them reach out and say that they want to do something to help, and have done some pretty significant things to help. And I think one of the biggest reasons they've done that is just to show the resolve and the confidence they have in what we're doing here at OSU Athletics. And that's what we're going to need moving forward. And it is much appreciated as always.
Chad Weiberg, the new athletic director at Oklahoma State University. Chad, thanks for joining us. And all we have to say is pistols firing and go Pokes.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Grant. Appreciate it very much.
Well, Chris, that's a man with a lot going on. Chad Weiberg, the director of athletics at Oklahoma State.
And go Cowboys. They're at Texas this Saturday. Get after them, Cowboys. We're going to come right back and talk to Taylor Hall. Oilers hockey is ready to get started.
A classic never changes. It just gets better. Live your greatest hits at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, Tulsa.
What happens when Rumble of the Oklahoma City Thunder takes on the two fellas and a big vehicle team on the court? They should leave it to a professional. And when it comes to moving the Thunder and all of Rumble's stuff, he should leave it to the professionals.
We got this. Let the pros from two fellas take it from here.
The world-class thoroughbreds are racing at Remington Park. There's live racing now through December 17th. So don't miss all the action on the track and in the casino. Send your heart racing at Remington Park.
The Tulsa Oilers are back at the BOK Center for the 70th season of Tulsa hockey. Join the Oilers for opening night Saturday, October 30th at 7:05 as they take on the Kansas City Mavericks. For tickets, call 918-632-7825 or visit TulsaOilers.com and get ready to defend the rig.
Getting close to the middle of October means it's hockey time in Tulsa. And I'm glad to be joined by Taylor Hall, the general manager of the Oilers. And Taylor, a lot has happened to the Oilers in the offseason, getting ready and opening the preseason training camp, of course, on the 10th of October here, and then on to the first game, that at Rapid City on the 22nd. The big night, though, October 30th, the home opener with Allen, Texas coming here.
Absolutely, Chris. We're excited to finally have a regular start to our season. Last year, because of the COVID stuff, we didn't get started until December 11th, so we're kind of glad to be back to normal here this year.
I know that opening day is always something you look forward to, and it's a little bit of a different opening day. New ownership. We had Andy on the show, Andy Skirdo, a couple of weeks ago, and do you anticipate any changes? Business as usual?
Well, first of all, we're very excited to have Andy as our owner. He's just a super guy, loves hockey. He's got a hockey background, which I think is going to really help our program, and he really wants us to take it to the next level. I mean, we've been playing hockey here in Tulsa for many, many years. This will be our 70th season of hockey, if you can believe that.
You're Tulsa's oldest professional franchise, right?
Yeah,
I
mean, we started playing in 1928-29 at the old Coliseum before it burnt down, and so we got a long history, and Andy is very motivated to help us take it to that next level. So for the fans, I think they can expect more fun things at the games, more giveaways, and hopefully even a better team on the ice, because we certainly want to be playing come June next year in the finals.
Just the other day, I think I told you this off the air at one time, but I knew you had been around since at least 41 years ago, because I was on YouTube and found an old Chris Lincoln sportscast from Channel 8. His top story in 1979, Tulsa Oilers.
There you go. Yeah.
I had a great Oilers story. I was 79. My son Todd was 3 years old at the time. And I took him to an Oilers game, and I put him up on my shoulder so he could see better.
Yeah.
And halfway through, I could feel a little something running down the back of my neck. Little kid went right through the diaper and everything, right down the back of my neck. I had to go up and do the sports show that night. I always remember that. One of my Oiler highlights certainly there. Those are some great times, though, at the old convention center downtown. I'll tell you, these Oiler fans are one of the most rabid sports fans I've ever been around. They're incredible, your fans.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, we've had some fans that have been coming since 1929, actually. We have a gentleman, Richard Baldwin, who's 91 years old, and he's a season ticket holder. He was only a year old when he came with his parents, but hockey has been a tradition here in Tulsa. We had several breaks in those 70 years. 1928 until today is a lot more than 70 years, but because the building burnt down, because of the World War, there was a few breaks in the action, but all combined, this will be year 70. So yeah, we have a lot of family members, grandparents that are bringing their grandkids, so quite a tradition of hockey here in Tulsa.
We've had people out here who've come by the broadcast, especially with Andy here.
That's
was
right.
Here a couple of weeks ago. Lady came by and she said, "Hey, it's only 42 days until."
Oh yeah, they know the countdown.
They're ready to go,
Yeah.
and so I know it's fun to have fans who are that excited and just ready for hockey. Kind of, what are some of the opening promotions you guys are going to have?
Well, I mean, first of all, we're going to be celebrating the 70th season, so we're going to have some live entertainment. We're going to open the building up a little early on opening night. We're going to have some prizes and giveaways, and just a lot of really fun things to kick it off. We're going to be wearing a special jersey commemorative the 70th season, so it's a special jersey. We'll just wear that night, and just kind of give our fans an opportunity to come and celebrate Oiler hockey. And we're very excited that it's a Saturday night. As you know, in Oklahoma, Friday nights are kind of tough with high school football, and so we kind of got a break in the schedule, so we're really looking to capitalize it on Saturday.
And he has a good continuity with the coaching staff again.
Yeah, I mean, Rob Murray's back again. I mean, we're very happy to have him back. He's done an amazing job for our team. A couple years ago, I mean, we were one game away from playing in the finals against Newfoundland, which would have been awesome. We lost in Game 7 here to Toledo, but looking for big things this year from the team. And I know Andy, our new owner, he's excited about the team and wants to make sure that we're going to be at a level to compete for the playoffs and hopefully a championship.
Yeah.
Average places that we travel in a year for the Tulsa Oilers.
Average places?
Yeah, we're all.
Well, I mean, I think we would do probably. I mean, this league now, the ECHL is a much bigger league than before when we used to play in the old Central League. So we fly quite a bit now.
Nice.
We used to bus everywhere and would do probably about 20,000 miles a year on the old Iron Lung. Nowadays, we probably do not quite as many miles on the bus but we do fly. So in our division alone, we have 3 places that we fly to all the time. Rapid City, South Dakota is a flight for us, which is really nice. The guys love that. Salt Lake City, Utah, and then Boise, Idaho. So anytime we go up there nowadays, we would fly. And then our close rivals, Wichita Thunder, of course, arch rivals, Kansas City Mavericks, and the Allen Americans are all within 2.5 to 3.5 hours. So we bus all those. But then we do make some swings up to Fort Wayne, Indiana, Kalamazoo, Michigan. And, you know, we've got 2 teams in Canada. We've got teams in southern Florida. I mean, we're all across the country.
Saturday night in Boise sounds like a country song.
Wow, that really does.
Yeah.
My gosh. You know, ECHL expands like that. You mentioned the good affiliation with the National Hockey League as well.
Yeah, we're affiliated with the Anaheim Ducks of the National Hockey League, and also their AAA team in the American Hockey League, the San Diego Gulls. So our guys will go from Tulsa to San Diego to Anaheim. So not a bad little swing for players. And Anaheim has been great to us. They've sent us a number of players over the last 3 or 4 years, and we're expecting to get 6 or 7 contracted guys once the season starts.
You got to be excited. You got your goalie coming back too.
Yes. Devin Williams is, I believe this will be his 5th season with us. He's been a great player in this league. I mean, he's played some American League games. Also, Anaheim gave us a great goaltender last year, which we think we're going to get back. So we may have the best 1-2 punch in the league with both. Usually there's a little bit of drop off. You have the number 1 goalie and then you have a backup, so to speak, right? But in this case, I mean, both of our guys should be number 1 goalies, but we're very happy to have Devin Williams back. And fans are very familiar as a fan favorite, and it's going to be great to have him back again.
You know, you talk about Anaheim. So many of us 90s kids grew up on the Mighty Ducks.
Oh,
1, 2, and I believe 3. And, you know, that was when they ended up coming out with that franchise. That was something a lot of kids who never watched hockey were instantly familiar with. So
yeah, no, and it's great for us. I mean, and you're right. We've done a couple promotional nights over the last few years where we spotlighted the Ducks and the Mighty Ducks. And, yeah, people know that. So it's kind of cool to be able to play off that on a special occasion.
Hey, if you can bring Gordon Bombay out to coach for a night, you know, there we go. So.
Taylor Hall, general manager of the Tulsa Oilers. Again, they open their training camp on October 10th at the Ice Center on Mingo. And I guess fans are invited, right, to come by and watch.
Training camp's open again. And last year it wasn't, but this year we're wide open. Look forward to seeing all the fans down there at the Oilers.
Circle that date, right? October 30th, Saturday night.
Saturday night.
That's what it all starts.
See you there.
That's a big home opener for the Oilers. Have something for you, too. Thank you very much for joining us. Billy Sims wants to make sure you enjoy some of his barbecue.
Oh, thank you, guys.
There's a gift card for that.
Gotta love Billy Sims.
The coach and
I will.
Andy, the new owner and stuff. Look forward to coming to the BOK from hockey.
Thank you, guys.
We'll be right back with more on Oklahoma Sports Scene, presented by the Cherokee Nation.
A classic never changes. It just gets better.
Jackie Blue lives her life from inside of a room. Makes you think that her life is a drag.
Live your greatest hits at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, Tulsa.
What happens when Rumble of the Oklahoma City Thunder takes on the 2 fellas and a big vehicle team on the court? They should leave it to a professional. And when it comes to moving the Thunder and all of Rumble's stuff, he should leave it to the professionals.
We got this. Let the pros from 2 fellas take it from here.
Billy Sims knows barbecue. How about 9 meats, including brisket, chicken, pork, turkey, and ribs? Just to name a few, and 7 home-style sides. We start early to slow smoke the most delicious meats for over 12 hours.
Every day.
Wherever you want, online, dine-in, curbside, or carry-out. We've had a passion for over 15 years of serving delicious barbecue to people like you. Billy Sims has fast, drop-in friendly neighborhood service, loud enough for a tailgate and fancy enough for a wedding. Like we said, Billy Sims knows barbecue.
The world-class thoroughbreds are racing at Remington Park. There's live racing now through December 17th. So don't miss all the action on the track and in the casino. Send your heart racing at Remington Park.
There was a red-hot Kentucky Derby winning jockey at Remington Park this past week. Dale Day has the details of how his night went.
Remington Park players and fans witnessed a unique winning streak on Wednesday night, October 6th, as jockey Stuart Elliott won the primetime Pick 4. Now, he didn't cash in on the bet, but he did help those who bet his horses win the wager as he rode all 4 winners in the Pick 4. A veteran jockey who has enjoyed great success in his long career, racking up more than 5,200 wins, more than 150 of those at Remington Park, mountain earnings topping $111 million, and of course, nearly winning the Triple Crown in 2004 aboard Smarty Jones.
Smarty Jones goes on to win the Kentucky Derby in that big bonus by 2.5.
Elliott piled on the wins as he scored the final 4 races to end the October 6th card at Remington. He won aboard a Fleet Okie in race 6. And a Fleet Okie will get there by a little more than a length on top. Medalla Match in race 7. A Medalla Match may pay off with that shorter path and will by a length. Favorable Outcome in race number 8. Favorable Outcome staying strong at the end and will win this by 5. And then he capped off the primetime Pick 4 in the 9th race aboard first-time starter Morning Twilight. Seconds on the lead. Morning Twilight makes a bid against Presley's Artwork. Swinging off a run. Here's Diamond and Gasoline, followed by Because. It's Morning Twilight now on the front with a furlong to go. Morning Twilight is there, but Diamond and Gasoline down the middle of the track is rolling. Diamond and Gasoline second, set to challenge Morning Twilight. And Morning Twilight trying to hold off Diamond and Gasoline. Morning Twilight reaching down for everything she has, and she will get the win, but she had to work. Morning Twilight on top by 3 parts of a length. The 4-race win streak gives Elliott 25 scores on the season, second only to 3-time defending local riding champ David Cabrera, who has 32 through racing of October 6th. Remington Park Racing is now ready for the $1 Million Oklahoma Classics night on Friday, October 15th. The main storyline, record-setting welder might be making his final career start in the Classic Sprint. We'll feature that race and others on the next report. In Oklahoma City at Remington Park, I'm Dale Day. Now back to Sports Scene.
Well, from horse racing to high school, let's real quickly go over the big rankings from PrepRedZone.com and their illustrious Michael Knight.
That's right.
Jinx, Union, Owasso, Edmond, Santa Fe, and Broken Arrow ruling the roost in 6-1A in that order. Nobody's catching Bixby. 70-7, the win over Choctaw the other night.
And then the week before that, 81 points went up Putnam City West. 151 points in 2 games for Bixby Spartans.
They've got Choctaw behind them, Booker T, Sand Springs, and Dell City. Class 5A, McAllister is number 1, Collinsville, Ardmore, Coweta. Coweta, of course, got hit by the tornado this week. We're kind of wondering how their game's going to go. Carl Albert in that order. Then Tuttle on top of 4A, Holland Hall on top of 3A, Washington on 2A, and Ringling on Class A.
And a lot of games on Thursday night, right, this week?
Yep, a lot of the fall break games being adjusted. Poor Chris Lincoln still having to work on Friday. Sorry about that.
I'm going over to more. The Union Redskins. It's Redskins. I keep calling them that. I know, after 50 years, I can't call them that anymore. Union is going over to play more on Friday night. We'll be doing that game for you on the radio, and we'll be on your show Friday night, right?
Well, we'll be having our show Thursday now. We're actually moving it over, so we will be Lincolnless this week. So.
All right, let's talk about the Big 4 college football schedule this Saturday. And amazingly, 3 of our Big 4 teams, all with 11 a.m. kickoff starts.
Oh, yeah. Bacon and eggs edition of college football. OSU at Texas, 11 o'clock on Fox. It's homecoming at Arkansas. Everybody can question Sam Pittman's 2-point play in person.
Loved it. Good for you, Sam.
Tulsa at South Florida on the U, and TCU is playing at 6:30 on ABC.
But the big game to me, of course, the Cowboys game at Austin, and Oklahoma State always seems to play well down there at Texas.
Yeah, they always do, and it'll be interesting to watch. They're undefeated. So.
Well, come on out with us next Monday. We're going to be actually taping our show next Monday at Billy's Burger, the new place for Billy Sims, and we want to have you there. Billy's supposed to be there as well. We'll be back here at the Hard Rock then the week after that. So come on out and join us on the new Oklahoma Sports Scene. Thanks for being with us, and have a great week.